I would say I am the face of domestic violence. My story started in my 20s when I got married. Thought I was marrying the love of my life. But the night of our honeymoon, that's when it started, because he was truly horrible to me. Broken bones, stitches, dislocated jaw, dislocated shoulder, broken clavicle, fingers, black eyes, broken nose, you name it. It's pretty much happened to me.
Hey, y'all, this is a sensitive subject, I know, but I feel like it's something we need to talk about. I hope that it will inspire you and encourage you and remind everyone that everybody around us is fighting a hard battle. We're all doing the best we can with what we've got. And as Impactivists, it's our role to inspire and to encourage anywhere we can. So today, I want to introduce to you my friend, Chrissie Henry. Some of you know Chrissie already. Now, she is a domestic abuse survivor who also started a women's and children's shelter out of that whole experience. She's got an amazing story, and I know that it will move you. I know that it will resonate with some of you. And so I'm excited for us to jump into our conversation today. So first of all, I want to introduce to you my friend Chrissie, whose motto is one kind deed a day. Chrissie, thanks for being here and taking time to talk.
Thanks for addressing this. It's a national problem. It's not going to go away.
So in the Impactivist group this week, you posted about being a domestic abuse survivor, which takes a lot of courage. And I'm so grateful you did that. To walk us through that experience. Tell us how that came to be.
My story started in my 20s when I got married. Thought I was marrying the love of my life, and it turned drastically on my honeymoon. And he started with the degrading me and being horrible most days. But the night of our honeymoon, that's when it started. I talked back, very human, and so he didn't like that. And so, long story short, we did this back and forth thing for 9 years of abuse. He was truly horrible to me. Broken bones, stitches, dislocated jaw, dislocated shoulder, broken clavicle, fingers, black eyes, broken nose, you name it. It's pretty much happened to me. And so with this, my journey was so horrible. My poor little son, he was 5 years old, and he would have to escape out of a window and take baby, which was his little sister, 5 years old, and had that much courage to get his sister out of a horrible situation, to get help from mama. And he would run down to my grandmother's house, right there in Pasadena, right by Gillies, and get help from mama. My grandmother would call the police, and of course, I would never press charges because, you know, this is what you do. You don't voice what happens behind closed doors. You don't tell anybody. It's a secret, and it's a dirty secret. It's a dirty secret that no one should ever have to not tell. Divorced him. Had a great relationship that I never married in for 12 years. Great relationship, but I put up with too much there too. So the cycle just keeps going. When you're told that you're a dirty whore and that you're every name in the book, you start to believe it after a little while. And so your self-confidence goes down. My third relationship was to a younger man, the father to my son, my autistic son. He's 12. I had my tubes reversed to have my beautiful baby. This man was truly my worst mistake in my life. And that's hard to say because he gave me the best gift ever, and that's my baby. This man terrorized me. We got married in March of 2005. And again, it started right off the bat with punching me in the head, face, everywhere. And of course, you don't tell anybody. You're ashamed. With this, I just had no self-esteem. I love this man. This was my husband. This is somebody that I pledged to love forever. And he betrayed my love by laying hands on me. Laid hands on me pregnant. He beat me with a belt, pregnant. Again, broke my nose. I've had a lot of broken bones due to men. And incidentally, after the abuse, Tom, I would get up the next day, make him breakfast, bring it to him in bed, like nothing ever happened, until the morning of May 29th, 2011. I was beaten so badly the night before. This man took a toy BB gun that I've had since I was 5 or 6 years old, had it mounted on the wall. He beat me for hours with this BB gun, a play gun, something that you would give your son or your daughter just to play with. I would always end the beating with getting him a cold wash rag to calm him down so we could just go to sleep. I had enough. I was so beaten and still got up, made the breakfast, kissed him goodbye, got him out of the house so that I could breathe. Breathing was the big thing for me. Sheltering my little boy, whom is autistic. The morning of the 29th, I got him off. I called my neighbor and I said, let's do this. I called the police. They filed on him because he had beaten me so bad that I was coughing blood up. Choked me down, nearly killed me that night. So the next morning I wake up and I have the handprints and the black eyes and everything. And so the police come and they were shocked because there was chips of wood everywhere. They couldn't understand what the wood was. And it was a Red Ryder BB gun, the handle of it. They took pictures of me and they were horrible. I can still see them, and put out a warrant for his arrest. It took them 2 weeks to find him. I was fortunate because a shelter in Louisiana took me in and hid me and my son for 2 weeks. And they were instrumental in getting me away from this man. They finally found him hiding like a coward. We did a trial. I didn't have to testify because he pled guilty, thankfully. He got 7.5 years. Well, he got 15 years and he only had to do 7.5. They took him, gave him a parole. Now, this is a man that did attempted murder with a deadly weapon, a BB gun. The system failed me. I was living my life and raising my son alone. They let him out. I lived literally next door to my abuser for almost 6 months until I moved here to Texas.
So for someone who survived domestic abuse, tell us how that affects future relationships.
I didn't date. I didn't date from his conviction date till October 2018. The only reason I know that date is because I met my boyfriend by chance. Just the day-to-day living. We've been together nearly 2 years. The day-to-day is really hard because there's some days like this morning. I knew that I needed to talk today, but I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't know how I was going to tell this horrible story to people and make them understand that life for me is hard. Life for me to move on is hard. My boyfriend is a saint. He's such a good guy. And he's so patient, but I had no interest in relationships, period. I didn't date. My only focus was my son and my job.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And I think that's probably something that a lot of people, a lot of men don't understand. So in one of your posts this week in our Impactivist group, you listed a graphic that had traits of women who survived domestic abuse. And let me just read a couple of things that were on that because I thought it was really insightful. It said that often women feel like they're not enough. They struggle with nightmares and flashbacks. They feel vulnerable and afraid. They feel disconnected from their true self. It's a lot like PTSD, because I've done work with veterans who have PTSD. All that trauma takes time to heal. So to women out there who have been through this kind of situation, tell us, are there tips? Are there things, is there advice you would give to help them heal, to help them work through that?
Mostly, Tom, it's just the day to day. Just to feel good in your own skin is healing. To see your smile on your baby's face is healing. To know that my 2 grown children look at me and see that I have this glow and this smile about me. You have to not focus on the bad. Now, although every night for a lot of years, and I think I've shared this with you personally, I would get up all night long. If I wasn't out on a call, I would make sure the doors are locked, make sure that all the windows are locked. I slept with a 410 underneath my bed. I never left the house without my handgun because I'm still being victimized. And I want to say that it ends, that once you find the one, that it all ends, but it doesn't. You still carry this horrible baggage with you. And it's the best feeling and the worst feeling because you know that you're safe. But then there's that part of your brain that is like, no, you're never going to be okay. You're never going to be safe. And so I don't sleep at night. Still, I still take antidepressants. I still take anxiety medicines. I still have PTSD bad. I still cry a lot. And that's the hardest part of it, is to not cry every day. I now have to co-parent with this man, with my child. So it never goes away. Once you've been hurt as badly as I was, you don't heal. You scar over, but you don't heal. There's parts of me that are still that little girl that just wanted to be loved, who just wanted to find the one that would hold my heart as a priority.
You know, that's so great that you shared that. I think that is one of the things that I love about you, that I admire about you, is through all of this struggle, all of this experience that you didn't ask for. Somehow you found the courage to pack up and to leave. You found the courage to begin to work through all of that abuse, all of that experience, and to protect your children. But beyond that, you found the courage to go start a shelter and to begin to help rescue other women and children out of that. How did that start? How did that shelter process begin?
With being hid by a shelter, and I won't list the name because it's a private shelter. It's an underground shelter. It's where the worst of the worst women go. So I started a community shelter. I started in a church. So I started my home base there and started going on calls, because in Louisiana, there's nothing for somebody that if they needed counseling or if they needed this, they had to apply through state help. And I thought that was stupid. I wanted women to be able to come to me and know that I was going to advocate for them, that I was going to help their children, that I was going to do all the things that really should have been done to me in my 20s. With this, I started going on calls because Child Protective Services helps a child. There was nobody there that was going to be on scene for a woman. You know, they take the man to jail and the woman is left sitting there crying because, you know, her husband is in jail. She's a victim again. So you're victimized by the police. You're victimized by your husband. You're victimized by your partner. Nobody was there to advocate for these women. That was me. So I would arrive on scene to get the woman, take her to the hospital. If the children needed care, CPS showed up. I was just the intermittent. I would bathe the kids. I would give them a go bag, GEAUX, go bag. Had toys, PJs, had a go bag for women, because most of the time when women leave, they don't have anything. They have nothing. They usually get out with just what they have on. So it was really hard to get my thoughts together about what it was that I wanted to make a difference in. I wanted these women to know that I cared, that I was right there with them. In the shelter right now, in the main shelter. We have a church, and then I had 6 shelter homes that I sheltered women and got them into a recovery program if they needed it, helped them with jobs, helped them with childcare. I provided all their food, helped them with cars. They paid for nothing for 6 months. They were in my program for 6 months. And so with that, I made an idea into helping people. And I even helped men at times. It wasn't just exclusive to women. There was a man that was beat up by his wife. She had mental illness. I just didn't want to limit it just to women and children, although that was really my focus to begin with.
So one of the things that you said that is really interesting, you said this earlier, is that 1 out of 3 women suffers from domestic violence. I read a statistic that 1 out of 7 men also suffers. So from the year 2001 to the year 2012, we had almost a little over 6,000 soldiers who died in Afghanistan and Iraq. But in that same time period, there were almost double that amount of women who died from domestic abuse. And like you say, it's not just the women who are involved, it's men who are involved, and it's children who are involved. And with everything going on right now with COVID, those numbers, you were saying those numbers double typically. So you can expect twice as many people because everybody's sheltered at home, everybody's stressed, everybody's drinking more than normal, or they're cooped up more than normal. One of the things that I believe that I see in you and in lots of people in our Impactivist community is that there comes a point that your test becomes your testimony, right? So whatever you have been dealt in life, at some point you gather up strength and courage and muscle and determination, and you take that and you build it into something that maybe doesn't completely free up you, but it frees other people. It helps other people grow. It serves somebody else. So I'm curious, what changes have you seen in yourself? I mean, have you seen yourself grow in certain ways through the years that you didn't expect?
Of course, I'm a better mother. I'm a better partner. I don't know if I'll ever get married again, but I have commitment with him. I'm patient. Even in the worst of subjects, I'm patient. And statistically, 24 people per minute, Tom, are being beat on. 24 people a minute in the United States. So the things that you've got to look at when you look at yourself is, at the end of the day, are you making a difference? Are you being the best person that you can be? Are you helping somebody every day? Hashtag one kind deed a day. I do it every day. I helped somebody this morning, as a matter of fact, heading to help pick up my grandkids.
So what kind of impact do you want to have on the world?
Domestic violence does not stop. It doesn't breathe. And it's a horrible thing to wake up every single day and you think to yourself, what am I going to do today? What's going to happen to me today? Am I going to be a victim, or am I going to stand up and I'm going to fight? And that's what I did. I fought for my relationship with my now boyfriend. I left my home, my land, my job at the shelter, everything. I had a career there, and I had to walk away from my own sanity. And if I could encourage one woman, one young woman, I was 22 the first time I had somebody lay their hands on me. 22 years old. God help somebody if they laid their hands on me now, because I'm not a victim anymore. So if I could help one person get out, if I could help one person just to be that extra special mama, or just be a good friend to somebody, then that's what I want to do.
So Chrissie, if you could make one Facebook post, okay, if you could have one billboard that everybody in the world would see, you give them one message, what would that one message be?
I would put my young self and a picture of myself now, and I would say, I am the face of domestic violence. And I'm not a dirty victim. I'm just a victim, and I'm a survivor. And that's what I want people to understand. I'm not going to be victimized by the system anymore. I'm not going to be that victim to anyone.
And I think that's a beautiful answer. I don't think that you are just a survivor. I think that you are a fighter. I think that you are a warrior. And I'm so proud of you, so proud of our friendship and our relationship through the years. And I'm just really grateful that you took time to share your story with everybody through this. I don't think this will be just one woman that will benefit from it. And I think it's going to be thousands of people who will see this and will get the courage to leave, get the courage to get help, get the courage to reach out to another woman or to seek a shelter. Uh, all of those things work together to help us build, help us have the impact that we want to have. And I don't think that that impact will happen without you having shared your story. So
We just need to focus more on other people instead of in our own miseries. Look at your brother, look at your sister. I'm the face of domestic violence. I am somebody's mother, sister, daughter, grandmother, girlfriend.
you're right. You're absolutely right. And I want you to know that we believe in you and that we are really grateful for what you do.
I love you.
All
Thank you
right.
so much.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate
Love
you
you.
so much. Thank you so much.
If you're struggling with abuse, anxiety, or depression, text the word HOME to 741-741 right now. It's anonymous, it's free, and counselors are waiting.
Bye.